Japanese urban legend about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako-san who haunts the school bathrooms. Like many urban legends, the details of the origin of the legend vary depending upon the account. Legends about Hanako-san have achieved some popularity in old Japanese school where children may challenge classmates to try to summon Hanako-san, the spirit. According to the legend, Hanako-san is the spirit of a young girl who haunts school bathrooms and can be described as a yokai or a yuri. The details of her physical appearance vary across different sources, but she is commonly described as having a bobbed haircut and as wearing a red skirt or dress. The details of Hanako-san's origins also vary depending upon the account. In some versions, Hanako-san was a child who was murdered by the stranger or an abusive parent in a school bathroom. In other versions, she was a girl who committed suicide in a school bathroom. In still other versions, she was a child who lived during World War II and who was killed in an air raid while hiding in a school bathroom during a game of hide and seek. To summon Hanako-san, it is often said that individuals must enter a girl's bathroom, usually on the third floor of a school, knock 3 times on the third stall, and if Hanako-san is present, she will reply with some variation of "Yes, I am." Depending on the story, the individual may then witness the appearance of a bloody or ghostly hand. The hand or Hanako-san herself may pull the individual into the toilet, which may lead to hell. Or the individual may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard who claims that the individual was invading Hanako's privacy. The individual may also be left alone with no harm, but they may see Hanako-san in the mirrors next to them. Bone woman or Hone Onna is a beautiful woman in kimono. She attracts young men late at night in dark alleys and convinces them to undress her. But if they do, they are doomed, for as soon as they open her kimono, they discover that she has no skin. Before they can scream and run away, she will embrace them and suck their life away. In Seiken's explanatory text in the Konjaku Gazu Zoku Yaki states that there is a story called Otogi Boko, in which an aged female skeleton would carry a kochin or lantern decorated with botan flowers on it and visit the house of a man she loved back when she was still alive, and then covert with that man. In the Botan Doro, a man named Ogiwara Shinojo meets a beautiful woman named Yako, and they become entangled almost every night. But one night, an old person from next door catches a glimpse of it and sees the strange scene of Shinojo embracing a skeleton. There is an odd tale in Omori Prefecture about a yokai under the title of Hone Onna. It says that in the Ansi period, a woman who was said to be ugly by those around her became a good-looking skeleton after death and walked around town as a skeleton to let everyone see. It is said that she likes fishbone and would collapse upon encountering a high priest. Akai Kami, Ayo Kami, red paper, blue paper. This is another toilet-based story because nothing is scarier than a Japanese toilet, especially a Japanese squat toilet. It goes something like this. If you enter a toilet with no toilet paper, not an uncommon occurrence in Japan, and sit to do your business anyway, if you are very unlucky, you might hear a voice from the last stall asking you if you want the red paper or the blue toilet paper. It is a trick question. If you answer red, you will be sliced apart, staining your clothes red with your own blood. If you answer blue, you will be strangled, your face turning blue from the lack of air. Trying to be clever and asking for a different color will result in being dragged down to the underworld. The correct answer, if you want is to live, is to tell the voice you don't want any paper. Or just never use a public toilet in Japan. Evidently, there is more popular versions of this tale called Akamento, which is basically the same except involves a masked man doing the killing. Akamanto is described as a male spirit, ghost or yokai who haunts public or school bathrooms. Akamanto is often said to haunt female bathrooms specifically, and in some versions of the legend, he is said to haunt the last stall in such bathrooms. The spirit is said to wear a flowing red cloak and a mask which hides his face and is sometimes described as being handsome and charming beneath the mask. According to the legend, if a person is sitting on a toilet in a public or school bathroom, Akamanto may appear and will ask them if they want red or blue paper. Depending on the version of the story, the spirit may ask them to choose between red cloak and a blue cloak, or between a red cape or a blue cape. If they choose the red option, they will be lacerated in such a manner that their dead body will be drenched in their own blood. The specific manner in which the person is lacerated differs depending on the account of the legend, including the person being stabbed or flayed. If the individual chooses the blue option, the consequences range from the person being strangled to all of the person's blood being drained from their body. If an individual attempts to outsmart Akamanto by asking for a different color of paper, cloak, or cape, it is often said that they will be dragged to an underworld or hell as a result. In some versions, choosing a yellow paper, cloak, or cape will result in the occupant's head being forced into the toilet. Ignoring the spirit or replying that one does not want to prefer either kind of paper is said to make the spirit go away. In some accounts, rejecting both options and running away from Akamanto will also result in the individual's survival, although sometimes Akamanto will simply block the exit. Kuchisake Onna or slit-mouthed woman, another vengeful female ghost. Japan has a lot of these. This one has been made into a movie, so if you're a fan of Japanese horror movies, you may have seen it. According to the legend, if a woman in a surgical mask walks up to you and asks, "Am I pretty?" you are pretty much screwed. If you answer no, she will kill you with a pair of scissors. If you answer yes, she will remove her mask, revealing a mouth that has been slit ear to ear and ask, "How about now?" If your next answer is no, she will kill you immediately. If it's yes, she will slit your mouth ear to ear to make you just like her. Trying to run away does no good. In true horror movie fashion, she will immediately appear in front of you or wherever you run. Some versions of the tale do include ways to escape. One of them is to tell her you have a pressing engagement elsewhere. She will apologize for her rudeness at delaying you and allow you to go. According to legend, Kuchisake Onna was a woman who was mutilated during her life, with her mouth being slit from ear to ear. In some versions of the story, she was the adulterous wife or concubine of a samurai during her life. As punishment for her infidelity, her husband sliced the corners of her mouth from ear to ear. Other versions of the tale include that her mouth was mutilated during a medical or dental procedure and that she was mutilated by a woman who was jealous of her beauty, or that her mouth was filled with numerous sharp teeth. After her death, the woman returned as a vengeful spirit or onryo. As an onryo, she covers her mouth with a cloth mask, or in some iterations a hand fan or handkerchief. She also carries a sharp instrument with her, which has been described as a knife, a machete, a scythe, or a large pair of scissors. She is said to ask potential victims if they think she is attractive, often phrased as "Watashi kiri," which translates to "Am I pretty?" or "Am I beautiful?" If the person answers no, she will kill the person with her weapon, and if the person answers yes, she will reveal her mutilated mouth. She then repeats her question or asks "Kore demo?" which translates to "even with this" or "even now?" And if the person responds with no or screams in fright, she will kill the person with her weapon. If the response is yes, She will slice the corners of the person's mouth from ear to ear, resembling her own disfigurement. An individual can survive an encounter with Kuchisake Onna by using one of the several methods. In some versions of the legend, Kuchisake Onna will leave the potential victim alone if they answer yes to both of her questions, though in other versions, she will visit the individual's residence later that night and murder the person while sleeping. Other survival tactics include replaying to Kuchisake Onna's questions by describing her appearance as average, giving the individual enough time to run away, distracting her by giving or throwing money or hard candies in her direction, or as she will stop to pick them up by saying the word pomade 3 times.